Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Paridi. I'm a nurse practitioner, and today I'm here with Rashmi Gore, who is a yoga teacher, and she'll be talking to us about what is yoga and how yoga can help us with our health issues, and just in general information about how long it's been practiced, and how we can get access to a yoga teacher and involve yoga in our daily lives. Welcome, Rashmi. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for inviting me on this show.
Thank you for joining us and giving us information and enlightening us with what about yoga and what is this background. So please, if you don't mind telling us how long you've been practicing yoga and teaching yoga and what got you interested.
Yeah, sure. I've been practicing yoga for the last 20 years or so. And I got into teaching only about 4 or 5 years ago. Although I always wanted to be a yoga teacher and really get into the depth of this and learn about everything about yoga. Mm-hmm. My basic qualification is that I'm an architect, and I was in my architectural practice and everything. And I came up with a couple of health issues. I had some wrong diagnosis, etc. About 20 years back, and it just went on with that, interlinked kind of troubles and physical ailments that I got into, and I really very seriously went into yoga from that time on. So, and after that, during my pregnancy, both the pregnancies also, I continued doing the yoga that is recommended for pregnancy, and I actually never stopped doing yoga after that. So from my childhood, my mom introduced me to a couple of asanas in yoga, and so it was always there in my life. But the depth of it and the passion for it was developed later on as I grew up. And after I got into started doing the yoga practice regularly, I automatically I came out of all the physical ailments that I was suffering from, and I completely stopped other kinds of treatment, and I just thought I should give my body time to heal itself and sort of figure out myself what's going wrong. So all these things, it's a process. It's a long process. It's not like a quick fix thing. Yeah. So
true.
Yeah. So after I came to Australia, it was like a break from my career in India, and I thought that this was opportunity to actually, instead of getting back into the 9-to-5 job or building up a practice again here, I thought it was a good opportunity to actually get into the yoga learning it in depth, and that's how I entered myself into a yoga teacher training course. And yes, I've been teaching yoga from the last 4 or 5 years in Melbourne. And I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And from the time this COVID situation has started, I've been running free meditation classes twice or thrice a week at least, for just general well-being of people around me, and just as a way of giving back to the society, because facing a lot of anxiety issues with this COVID situation. So. Yeah, and then I'm doing online classes as well now with this new Zoom technology.
Actually, wow, what an interesting background you have, and how you got involved in it, like just taking care of you as holistically, and then you came to realize that you need to help others go through the same experience as yourself.
True.
So to start with, then, if you want to explain what is yoga, so what are some basic principles and guidelines, and how long it has been practiced?
Yeah, yoga, if you see it and study it in depth, it's a pragmatic science which deals with the physical, the mental, and the spiritual well-being of the human being, and how a human being evolves and connects to the ultimate consciousness. And the word yoga, actually, it's actually yog and not yoga. It appears in the Sanskrit text. It means union, or yuj, which is a Sanskrit word again, which also means to unite or yoke. So it is a practice that aims to unite the Atman with the Paramatman, or the higher existence. So uniting the individual with the higher existence, and throughout the whole process of yoga practice, it culminates in giving you a lot of peace and inner strength, and a lot of spiritual wisdom as well. So this is how you kind of experience the universality of who you are. So yeah, that's what yoga really is. And if you ask me how about the origins of yoga, it's almost like being there for time immemorial, I think. And the first yogi, whom we refer to as Shiva, or the Adi Yogi, it's said that about 15,000 years ago he actually expounded the science of yoga, and he gave it to the Sapta Rishis, or the seven sages, and they in turn spread it throughout the world. And yeah, so it's been transferred from that time on, because the traditional Indian style of imparting knowledge was through Shruti, which is verbally the guru would be teaching his disciples, and the disciples would carry it forward through the generations. So it's been transferred verbally for several thousand years. And the first written records, of the Vedic times are you can see them in the Rig Veda about say 1500 BC, about 4,000, 5,000 years ago. And so the Vedic yogas are, the Vedic rishis, they taught people how to live in divine harmony, using the whole concept of yoga. Then the Upanishads, which came after the Vedas, they expounded it further, and they kind of explained the relation between the Brahman and the Atman and the Brahman, that is your transcendental self and the ultimate reality. So after the Upanishads, then we kind of hear the word yoga in the Bhagavad Gita, which was recited by Lord Krishna during the time of the Mahabharata, the epic war, which was about 3000 BC, almost 5,000 years ago. So you will find sculptures from that time detailing the different yogic positions, which date back to that time period. In the epic during the Mahabharata war, the Lord Krishna has, in the Bhagavad Gita, you hear the word yog, and he kind of guides Arjuna through this dilemma of whether he should fight his own people or not fight them for the right cause. So Krishna talks about three types of yoga there. It's the Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and the Jnana Yoga. So Karma Yoga is the path of selfless action. Bhakti Yoga is the path of devotion, yoga through devotion, and the Jnana Yoga is yoga through the pursuit of knowledge. So these three terms you get to hear, came into existence from the time of the Mahabharata time. Then in the 8th, 9th century, you have Hatha Yoga was the principles were put down by Swami Matsyendranath, and Hatha Yoga, Ha stands for sun, and Tha stands for the moon. So it's basically the union of these two qualities that are within our body as well. So in our body we have these energy channels called the Pingala and the Ida Nadi. So the Pingala stands for the sun, and the Ida stands for the moon. So when these two nadis are activated, it results in the activation of the central nadi called Sushumna, and that is through which the Kundalini energy passes through all the 7 chakras in our body to reach the highest chakra, the Sahasrara chakra at our crown. So so basically that's the aim of Hatha Yoga, is to achieve that kind of activation through Kundalini, and that is what unites you with the universal energy. So after Hatha Yoga, comes Ashtanga Yoga, which was expounded by sage Patanjali about 2000 years ago. And he talks about the eightfold path of Ashtanga. Ashta means 8 in Sanskrit. So the eightfold path of yoga, where you have the yamas and the niyamas. The yama is basically the moral code, and niyama is the rules. So yoga
Okay.
also, it also leads you into the moral upliftment or the progress towards good morals and building of good
Okay.
character as well. So you have the yamas, niyamas, then you have the asan, which are the physical postures. Then you have the pranayama, or the breathing techniques, the pratyahara, which is kind of going inward,
Mm-hmm.
which precedes the concentration phase or the dharana phase. And then you have the dhyan phase or the meditation, and ultimately it is the samadhi, where you really unite with the ultimate consciousness of this universe. So so that is in short how the yoga journey has been there till recent times, when I think in America, Swami Vivekananda in the late 1800s, he kind of introduced yoga to the West.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, especially in America. And
Mm-hmm.
after that time, there have been a lot of people. You have Swami Paramhansa Yogananda, who also established a lot of yoga centers in the US. And his book, An Autobiography of a Yogi, is very famous. And so when we talk of therapy, therapy is something that you go to only when you have some physical condition or ailment. But yoga, it's like a way of life. It's not something that you do only when you are ill or you're suffering from a physical or mental condition. So yoga is not like a cure-all pill that, okay, you have some problem and then you start doing yoga and then that problem will go away. I've observed that more women tend to go to yoga. Somehow that misconception is there that yoga is only for women. So
Okay.
that's not true either. So yoga is it's a practice, and it has to become a way of life. Only then you will reap its benefits, and to work on the body, mind, and soul. And as a practice in itself, it is therapeutic.
Okay.
And a lot of people have started yoga therapy institutes, to solve the physical and psychological problems. So yoga therapist, he applies the techniques of yoga with knowledge about a specific area, or a specific problem that the patient or whoever is approaching him facing.
Mm-hmm.
And, through his experience and intuition, he helps to alleviate that problem, whether it's physical or mental or spiritual. So yoga is, it's informed by its sister science, the Ayurveda. So in ancient India, all these things, we took a very holistic approach. All these things were connected. It was not like medicine and exercise, and so it was all. It was all interconnected. So because Ayurveda also, the principles of Ayurveda works on the three doshas, or the three qualities that are within each individual, and which quality is highlighted in particular individual, that also varies. So, so the asanas and the treatment for the yoga therapy will take into consideration all these things from the Ayurveda as well. And the therapy continues to evolve even with the cultural context, the kind of food that is eaten, because where this comes from in India, the food type is different. In the Western world, the food type is different. So as it is practiced today, and it's also influenced by the culture of the place, and it's also informed by the contemporary health sciences as well.
How can yoga help with the body heal overall? Like, what are some common ailments that yoga can help people with?
Yeah. So asana practice in general, it helps in a lot of health issues, of the physical body. It increases your strength, your flexibility, improves your digestion, and modern day issues of neck pain and shoulder pain with people all the time slouching, or on their mobile phones. A lot of people are having a lot of neck issues as well, youngsters especially, issues with the eyes as well, because of all the time looking at the screen, and posture issues. So asanas in general will take care of all these modern day issues as well. And yoga as such, it acts on all the body systems, the nervous system, the circulatory system, the endocrine system. Many of the yoga practices, they include quiet asanas and slow breathing, and meditation which involves slow chanting the Om chant.
Mm-hmm.
guided meditation. So all these things increase the activation of the parasympathetic nervous system, or PNS. Deals with the rest and digest
Yep.
kind of activities of the body, and this reduces the relaxation and the stress levels, and this in turn is quite useful for the heart especially, and the brain. So it acts on the nervous system as well. And whereas practices like vigorous sun salutations and Kapalabhati pranayam, and these kind of breath retentions, all these activate the sympathetic nervous system. This is both, so the yoga asana will balance both the parts of the nervous system. And we have asanas like Sarvangasana or Halasan or Adho Mukha Svanasana, or the downward dog. So and the Kapalabhati pranayam. So all these benefit the nervous system, and it also helps in the emotional health of a person. So yoga, when it acts on the endocrine system, it regulates the hormones in the body, like diabetes and a lot of thyroid problems. A lot of women I see, even in the age of, a lot of my friends, in the age of 30 and above, they start getting problems with the thyroid. They don't have
Yes.
that hormone is either deficient, or it's, it leads to hypo and hypothyroid conditions. Similarly, diabetes also, it's, the insulin production is affected, and people are getting diabetes at a very young age nowadays because of all the stress, etc. So so yogasana acts on the endocrine system as well. So you have a few asanas, like you have the Setu Bandhasana, you have Halasan, which which activates the thyroid gland. Even simple asanas like the Brahma Mudras, where you move your head up and sideways, that can also help in activating your thyroid. And yeah, and then you have Mayurasana, which is helpful in activating your pancreas, and so that's effective in handling diabetes. And if you talk of the respiratory system, all the pranayams, they're extremely useful in enhancing your lung capacity. And the Anulom Vilom, the Ujjayi pranayam. Ujjayis are actually even beneficial in tackling snoring issues. So
are there any contraindication?
Yeah, there are contraindications because every asana that is elaborated in yoga, each and every asana has got its pros and cons, do's and don'ts, and also depending upon the age group that the asana is being instructed to. It also has different levels, like easy level asana, the medium difficulty, and the higher difficulty levels. There are different types of asanas for the elderly, for the young, for the middle-aged, for pregnant women, and in the entire yoga asanas, each asana has got its own do's and don'ts for each age group, and I can give you a few examples. And the level of difficulty also varies. They are like easy, they are medium level difficulty, they are advanced level. So advanced level asana should always be done in the presence of a professional teacher or a well-qualified yoga guru. So I can give you a few examples. Like, for example, you have Garudasana, so which is it's a difficult one for old people. So they can either do it lying down, and for example, like pregnant women shouldn't be doing the Garudasana, and that's an advanced level asana. And you have Tadasana, which is a fairly easier level of asana. And that is recommended for old people because it helps, it aids, helps if you have indigestion issues or constipation issues. It also helps in lengthening the spine. So it's recommended for old people. Then you have another example is a Tratak. So the Tratak is useful for enhancing your eyesight and improving your concentration power. So, but it should not, if you have any kind of eye disease, you should, or eye condition, you shouldn't be doing it. So yeah, these are, so each and every asana has got its own do's and don'ts. So especially pregnant women, they should not do asanas which are putting pressure on their stomach and abdomen. So they should avoid asanas. And in general, before the yoga class, we give the instructions that if there is any kind of pain or any any trouble doing any asan, they should be stopping. The student shouldn't be doing that asan if they experience pain in any body part while doing a particular pose.
It's like, always consult a yoga teacher before trying any of the asanas or any of the yoga exercises, just for the safety aspect.
Yeah. So we also take down, before we take the student for the yoga class, we need to know his past history, what kind of physical ailments he's had, or if he's had any operations, or we need to know about that as well. So then we can guide him that, okay, if you will not do this particular thing, or.
Okay, so I wanted to go on to the next question in the sense of how can people incorporate yoga in their life? So if they're interested, what a typical session is like, and how they can get in contact with a coach.
Yeah, so yoga needs to be incorporated made it as a daily part of life. It's not like just doing it once in a while and it will not give you the benefits. So there's a lot of commitment and dedication involved if you have to really pursue yoga and reap its benefits. And a typical session would be, it will have warm-up exercises, or what we call as sukshma vyayam. And then you have the asana practice, then the pranayama or the breathing, and the meditation. That is how I run the class. So I take the whole, overall benefits of each and every aspect of yoga is what I try to give to my students. So it ends with the meditation and the shavasana. So when someone is doing a yoga practice, he should analyze his own strength level, and also the season or the climate in which you are doing the yoga practice also matters. For example, if it's like winters, then as soon as you get out of bed, it's not advisable to start doing your yoga asanas. It's to have a hot shower or something, so it loosens up your body a bit and provides the essential warm up for the body, and then you get into the asana practice. What needs to also be considered is the kind of work that you're doing. If it's a standing job or if it's a sitting job, depending on that, also you try to do those particular asanas which are going to strengthen that particular body part that you're using the most throughout your work life. So along with the asanas, on a daily basis, you should incorporate meditation and pranayama as well. So from 30 minutes to an hour, if you can give every day for the yoga practice, then you can really see the benefits, and it will take a while for the benefits for you to, and within 2 weeks of practice also, you will realize how much flexible your body is becoming, and how much fresher you're feeling, and how much more aware you have become. Even small things like tiredness, that feeling of tiredness also goes away when you're doing pranayam, because you get more oxygen supply to your body. So that's how people should incorporate yoga. They don't have to travel to the gym, and they don't have to buy fancy equipment to keep themselves fit. This will act on the body as well as your mind. So, and you just need a simple yoga mat to be keeping yourself fit. If someone is doing some kind of embroidery or continuously looking down, then that puts a lot of pressure on your cervical region in the neck. So then even doing simple Brahma mudras of, going up, down, and this simple thing, if you're aware of this, and even if you're doing it while you're working, this is a thing that you can do it while you're working as well, right? So that will also help in extending your work life as well.
True. So how can people get in contact with like a yoga if they're interested in a yoga teacher or get in contact with you?
Yeah, it's actually getting access to a yoga teacher is pretty easy nowadays. I mean, yoga is everywhere almost. At least I can see in Australia, every corner of the road there's a yoga school or a yoga available. And with the technology, you can access good yoga teachers even across the globe nowadays. So so to in order to get in touch with me, you can. I have a Facebook page called Rashmi's Yoga. I'll share my contact on the screen for those who want to.
And thank you very much for being with us today, sharing this vast knowledge on yoga and its background and its benefits. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad I was of help.
Yes, and thank you everyone. Please, I share this video with everybody that you would know that would benefit from knowing this knowledge and is interested in yoga. Along with, you can also get in contact with her if you want to learn more, or join her for her online sessions. I will be posting all this information in the description about herself, Rashmi, and about her website and contact info as well. In addition to, at the end of this video, you see that as well. So please don't forget to comment, subscribe, and share, and hope everybody is safe and healthy. Thank you, Rashmi.
Thanks, Paridhi.